All right, so we got about an hour until I have to be at work. I know a lot of people have been asking for this, wanting to see the brackets for the North American M4 qualifiers, right? So we're going to show you guys the brackets. A lot of you probably have already seen them because the YouTube North America channel has already published them. But what we're doing today is going to be a little bit different than just looking at the bracket. Before we get too far, for those that don't know as well, my name is Trex. I'm a North American Mobile Legends commentator, shoutcaster, play-by-play analysis. I host the North American Squad League, which is a grassroots league we built in NA, and among other things, right? I normally like to do predictions on upcoming events, especially in NA. Honestly, only really in NA, because if I made a prediction for MPLPH, it'd probably come out horrible. But anyways, and for those that may also know, I'm not bad at predictions. Most of the time when I do prediction competitions in my Discord and things like that, I normally come out on top. So I like to think that I have a decent grasp on a lot of the top teams in NA, a lot of the top players, things like that. Like I said, I've been casting for over a year now, over a lot of these big teams, things like that. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the bracket, go over a little bit, and then we're going to make predictions to the top 8. So let's take a look at the bracket. All right, so we have 32 teams here. The qualifiers started off with a total of 64 teams. They had a small double elimination opportunity to win 2 games to make it into the top 32. If you won 2 games in a row, you didn't have to play again, but you did have, if you lost 2 games in a row, you weren't able to continue. So you essentially had a max of 3 games to win 2 games in a bracket format, right? The 32 teams that remained went on to this bracket. Now, I know that the whole bracket here has it all the way to first place, but we were only going to the top 8 because this right here is what they're referring to as the knockout stage. And what this is going to do is take this 32 teams and bring it down to 8. This is going to bring it down to 8. Once we get to the top 8, it goes into another bracket. There is a possibility the bracket could actually swap around at the top 8 stage, especially because like the way they're seeding this is teams who did the best. So like all the undefeated teams in the top 64, for example, got seeded, right? So like the what is it, like 16 teams or whatever that didn't take a single loss, or the 8 teams that didn't take a single loss got seeded as 1, 2, 3. So those teams aren't facing each other. It's mostly like the way the bracket works. The way the bracket works is it takes like the best teams and puts them against the like number 1 seat goes against number 32 seat, which is the team that essentially did the worst. I wouldn't say they did the worst, but they took 2 losses, right? And that's how the AI works, or the computer programming works. And that's how a lot of seeding works in most tournaments, right? Unless you do like a random seed. Now, again, if you want to see the actual bracket of this, you can go, I'll leave a link for it in the description. It's for eStars. What I did here is kind of make a mock bracket that gives you the ability to do prediction. I'll also leave a link for this bracket in the description if you want to do your own predictions. I'll leave predictions open on it. Maybe we can have a little fun to see who ends up with the correct guess in top 8. So like I said, we have a lot of teams coming. It actually starts tonight, the top 32, and it's going to be going on until the end of this week, I think. And then next week we start top 8. No, next week, I don't know. I'll have to recheck the schedule. But again, you can figure out all this information in the North American Challengers Tournament Discord, which is like the official Discord for M4. I feel like my lights are really bright right now. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna go over this. I don't really want to talk anymore. Well, I want to talk, but I want to talk about you know. I feel like round 1 is gonna be pretty easy, right? It shouldn't be too hard to guess. The Valley versus Huevo. For those that don't know, the Valley is Shark, Basic, Hoon, Mobazane, Chicken, right? Valley takes that. Valley is honestly going to be a favorite, I think, for this whole tournament. We just saw them in the finals of the NASL. Ackerman did put up a good fight, but once again, I want to say that they're going to need to take it seriously. They can't come in, and I think after the loss that BTK had in the last NACT, Zane, a lot of them know that like if they make one slip up, some of these newer hungry teams will capitalize. It's what happened last time. So they need to just be careful, right? They need to just make sure that they don't do anything crazy. All right, so next game, Team Nilo versus Shibukaki. I hope no Shichibukai. Shit, whatever. We are going to take a look at the rosters because there's a few teams that are new. I don't exactly know. Team Nilo, Magic, Abusado, God Mode, Jenny Slays, not Gina God Mode, but JD God Mode. I don't know. Then you have Shichibukai, which again, a couple players I don't really know. This is one that I'm just going to have to kind of give it up. I could go into the Discord and look for their games. We're gonna give it to Shichibukai, just cause I like their name. Next up, Team Gosu versus Break the Cade. So Gosu's back, baby. I cue the Gosu fans. Team Gosu. I think where things are really gonna get interesting is the second bracket, right? The second line. That's when we're gonna have a couple nice face-offs, and then we'll see what happens from there, right? Team Gap, I know some players from you have R, the X gold lane for Team First Blood, and then half wits you have like M-Boy, Phaeton, so you have a couple of ethereal players, things like that. I would like to think that R would put himself on a decent team. And I don't know. I'm gonna go for Team Gap. I like R. I think even if the rest of his team does bad, R's like a phenomenal gold laner. So as long as they watch over him and they keep him right, he can carry a game. All right, Ackerman versus Only the Squad. Now I do know both of these teams pretty well. Ackerman, second place of the last NASL. You have Zia. You have Yureshi, who's going to be on the team from Evo's Next Play, or ex Evo's Next Play player, right? You have Tarzan, who used to be the Valley's jungler. Guapo, some of you might know him. He used to be the Valley's jungler before they made the super team. You have Mark Cutie, a gold laner from Area 77. You have Gals Cutie, old tank from Area 77. Definitely a powerhouse team. You also have Shen, who can come in and play, who's going to be playing mage, right? So power team right here, right? I like the fact that they even have a sub in. They have Marcuti as a sub in case Zia can't show up or anyone can't show up, things like that. So very strong team, like very strong team. Took 2 wins off of the Valley in a best of 7 in the finals. For those that didn't watch it, it was, even some of the games they lost, it was close. They definitely could, Ackerman could have probably made that all the way to 7. It went 6 games. They could have probably won that last game. They just lost in some macro at the end there. Now, they go up against Only the Squad. Only the Squad is a squad that's made by Steph Weezy. He's a Facebook streamer for Mobile Legends. He has commentated a little bit. I feel bad that they have to go against Ackerman up front. I was like, whenever Only the Squad made it to top 32, I sent him a congratulatory message like, hey, congrats, man, on top 32. That's awesome. Because he's like built this team from the ground up. I wouldn't put them at Ackerman, Valley, Simpsons, Team Sexy. Like, I wouldn't put them at like that height of skill just yet. But the fact that last NACT, I don't think they made it to top 32. This NACT, they did make it to top 32. So if they keep this up, I think they're only going to keep scaling. Can they beat Ackerman though? I don't think so. Sorry. I'm sorry, Weezy. I gotta just go with what I what I believe, right? Now, after this should actually be a kind of spicy game. You have a team called Incognito versus Shadow 9. Now, I know both of these teams a bit. Incognito had wanted to be in the league for a while, almost made it to the lead a while. Right now, Incognito is sitting at, they went through the qualifier stage without losing a single game. Shadow 9 did lose 1 game. Incognito has some players like Chewies, Ritz, Pumba, Newick, Timon. So like I know some of these players, I've known them. And then you also have Shadow 9, which has like Alan S, and also players I know. So it's this. I feel like these teams are in a similar skill level. Oh, this is actually a really hard guess. Because, like, I've seen Alan S take some games from some people, but I've also seen Incognito. I feel like Incognito may be grinding. I'm not even going to say that because I really have no clue, and I don't want to, like, say something. I'm going to go for Incognito. Doesn't really matter because either of them are losing to Ackerman. So this is where I think we get a little interesting on top 8, right? So if you look at the bracket right now, this line right here, the one after the next one, is top 8, right? So like there's gonna definitely be a couple new teams in the top 8. Like it's not just gonna be like Valley, Area 70, or Ackerman, Simpsons, Deuce Knights, Team Sexy, like the past teams that it's always kind of been in the top 8. We have some fresh blood, and they're in their own section, so they're guaranteed to make it the top 8. So like this little 4-man section right here, you have Legacy, Antique Familia, Apex Predator, and No Morals. One of those 4 teams is going to top 8. They have to. Now, whether you believe they didn't have to go, it's easy, they didn't have to go against anyone big. Well, it doesn't matter. They're going to top 8, which is cool, right? So we're gonna get to see like a new face in the top 8. So now, Legacy versus Antique Familia. Now I'm also kind of cross-referencing this with the eStars page because they have a bit more information on the teams. I don't have rosters on this. But again, I linked the eStars page in the description so you can actually check out rosters, all that types of stuff. So Legacy versus Antique Familia. It also shows their standings right now, how many games they've won, how many games they've lost, etc. So Legacy went 2-0 through the qualifiers. Antique Familia went 2-1. So I'm guessing they lost their first game, and then they won the next 2 in the elimination bracket. And I don't know any of them. Obi. I know Obi, and I know Gold. Oh. Legacy's got this. Legacy's going to take this. I don't think it's really a question. Gold played for Team Sexy in the past. EXP Diff, Obi have all played for big teams before in the NASL, I'm pretty sure, or in past NACTs. It looks like experience when I look at this team. And when I look at Antique Familia, I don't really know these players. And if you change if you're watching this video and you're like, wait, but you casted a game that I played in. If you change your name, it's your fault. I don't know. So we're going to go with Legacy. Next up, Apex Predators versus No Morals. Now, Apex Predators is a team that, amateur team, I would say, that have been grinding. They have a Discord channel. They've been, like rostering, like trying to build up their roster of players, stuff like that. They've been scrimming. They've been doing a lot of hard work, and you can tell it shows, right? Like they went 2-0 in the qualifier stages. They're going up against No Morals, which is 2-1. One interesting thing is we've had a couple teams like this sprout up. Apex Predators. Ad Meliora's not here. I don't even know if they tried to compete, but a few teams, right? Only the squad. You can see some of these teams that like came up over the past 6 months that have been like grinding, and it's showing, right? Like it's definitely showing. Like teams that in the past maybe didn't even make it to top 32 are now 2-0 in the qualifiers, right? Like they don't take a single loss in qualifiers. They beat both the teams they go against. So it's interesting to see, and I'm glad that Apex Predators showing up. I feel like they could be a possibly well-branded team, a team to keep our eyes on, right? I got a feeling they may end up actually making it to top 8. Apex Predators is going to beat No Morals. So after that, we have Team Sexy versus I Do The Eat. Team Sexy this time. For those that don't remember, if you've been following NA, you know Team Sexy. You have Nicolette, best player, Reckless, Kush, Jordan, and Stoner, right? So a pretty decent team, kind of stacked team, right? Best player Nicolette themselves have carried teams into the top 4. Have just done an amazing job. So I'm excited to see what they do this time. Team Sexy never seems to surprise me. They're a team that, like, you have Nicolette and best player and they consistently change their lineup, but like Nicolette and best player are just able to get players into shape and make things work. Whether it's just I feel like the fact of the matter is they're the common denominator in that team. They're the only two that have always been there. So it feels good. I think Team Sexy definitely takes this. Sorry, I do the eat. You have Nobody Chan, who's Peter, Savior, Frankie. Yeah, you guys are done. I'm sorry. Simpsons versus Kotsky. Simpsons, my boys. Those that don't know, Simpsons got banned in the last NACT. They almost got a permanent ban because one of the players was trash talking a moderator in the Discord, and they got kicked from the last NACT, and then a permanent ban was installed on them to where they could never compete in another North American Mobile Legends tournament again. They did appeal this ban. They made a public statement on their Instagram, on all this different stuff, and they appealed the ban. The ban was lifted. They are definitely, people's eyes are on them, but they're allowed to play. They're allowed to compete, which is a cool thing because Simpsons is a good team. I really like the Simpsons. I think they're a well-branded team. I think they're one of the few teams that doesn't change their roster very much. You have Cole World, Promise, Damien, Nate, Fallen, and Cinderella. I mean, all these guys I feel like all 6 of these guys have been playing for them forever. At least Cole World and Damien and Promise, like Fallen as well. So I think they're a strong team. I think they're definitely top 8 material. It's sad that in the next round they're go against Team Sexy, right? So I take the Simpsons over Akatsuki. Akatsuki's got Death, Dez, Chazzy, Ricky, Penny. I take the Simpsons all day. Vendetta versus Team Yam. For those that don't know, Vendetta is pretty much the new Insomniacs. They're new Insomniacs. That's all. You have you have Galaxy, Unicutie, and then you have Ure, but then you have Pogi, the ex-jungler from Area 77, Theo, Teo. So you have a pretty stacked lineup here, right? I definitely put them over Team Yam. No offense, but I don't think it's even really a question. Venedetta's probably top 8. It's not going to be easy, though. After this, we have a team called Yorkies versus Ventrix ePro. Yorkies went 2-0. Ventrix ePro went 2-1 in the qualifiers. Yorkies already looking a little, they look steady. I also know some players from Yorkies. Dies. You have Dies KF, Stella, Dad at Walmart. What a great name. Milk Tea, Sundra, and Clake. After on the side of Ventrix, Jerichal, Maxi, Alan M, Icy. Anyways, I put Yorkies on this. We're going to kind of try to speed through this first bracket, even though I've wasted most of the time on it. After that, Exile Outlaws versus Tigi Vibes. Exile Outlaws, no question. Team First Blood versus Rebels in Paradise. So Rebels in Paradise is similar to like Apex Predator, to where they're a newer team or a team that has been competing in the last NACT, I'm pretty sure. Things like that. They tried to make it in the NSL. They didn't quite make the qualifiers. So they're they're a team to keep our eyes on. Are they going to beat Team First Blood? Hell no. Sorry. Now, the spiciest game on the first bracket is this one right here. Bloodhounds versus Black Bulls. Bloodhounds versus Black Bulls. So Bloodhounds is a team that was put together from Boca Roscoe, Tempest, Sushi, Blink, who are all old Aether Explicit members, or maybe I don't know whether to call them old or whatever, but all Aether Explicit members with Riles. They competed in season 2 of the NASL, competed in the last NACT. Now, I guess there was some internal issues maybe. I think Riles not really playing enough, not able to commit enough, which is funny because he joined under AE on this team, and it just goes to show that like Boca, Templars, Sushi, and Blink were like, nah, we're doing our own thing. So they created the team Bloodhounds, which so far Bloodhounds have done good. They, let's see, what is it again? They're 2-0. I've seen some of their scrims. They've taken some wins against teams like Team Sexy. They've taken some games against the Valley with Fried Chicken subbed out, I think. You know, they didn't go against full Valley, but still they've taken some games against some good players, I would say. So Bloodhounds versus Black Bulls. We all know Black Bulls, but you have you have Hendrix, you have Darwin, you have a couple Deuce Knight players here. It looks like. But again, I just you're just a thrown together team. I don't think they're ready. I think Bloodhounds takes this. Like, we know Black Bulls enter a lot, and they've always been like this team that people know the name. But still, they're kind of like washed, I feel like. And maybe it's just because they always get some random players, or like one of the actual, like right now when you look at it, like you have the one Black Bulls player, and then everyone else is gonna have different tags and stuff. I don't know. Cue the Black Bulls haters. They're gonna all come after me because them boys are savage. Keshi versus Beat the Odds. I don't know either of these teams. Keshi went 2-0. Beat the Odds went 2-1. Let's see. Do I know any of the players' names? Oh, you got Foe. Under Beat the Odds, Mikasa. Oh, Beat the Odds has got this. Beat the Odds all day. You have Mikasa, Lucas, Big Pop, Foe. Beat the Odds. All right. Second round. Now, this is going to decide on who goes to top 8, right? Again, I don't think it's real. I honestly, like, in this bracket, I don't think it's really up for question. The Valley. Now, Team Gosu versus Team Gap. What was Team Gap's roster? I still think Team Gosu wins it. Yeah, Team Gosu. But again, like, these are hard, right? Because I don't know. Just one slip up. Ackerman versus, now I'm pretty sure the top 16 is going to be live streamed. So like, I don't know if we're gonna break it into 3 games a day, but I know day one is, if this is gonna be day one right here, it's gonna be hype. You got the Valley, Team Gosu, Ackerman. I got a feeling this Ackerman versus Incognito game could be spicy. Could be spicy for sure. Incognito, as I said, a hungry team. They're one of those teams that are looking for the moment, are looking for the crack in the armor. So if Ackerman shows that at all, Incognito could take a game. Maybe even take the whole thing. But again, that is a maybe. My bet goes on Ackerman. Legacy versus Apex Predator. Now, we looked at Team Legacy already. We talked about them a little bit. OB, Gold. You have some X-Team Sexy players, some X-Other People players. I like it. I think they are the favorites here. I want to say they're the favorites here, but this is going to be one of my predictions where I get spicy. I think this is going to be like my, I would say, upset prediction of my bracket. I always like to put one in there, right? At least one. I'm going to put Apex Predator as the win here. I'm going to put Apex. We'll see. I mean, I think Legacy takes it, but Legacy's like, I don't think Legacy takes it because I put Apex Predator, but Legacy is definitely the favorite. But I'm going to put Apex Predator. I think this will be an upset game of the top 16 bracket. Team Sexy versus The Simpsons. This right here is a heartbreaking game. I hate it when teams I've known for so long go up against each other so early. Like, why couldn't Team Sexy be here and them be here? Like, why couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, why couldn't this Legacy team be against this team and Simpsons be against Apex Predator? Like, and maybe that's selfish of me because I just want to see all the teams from the NASL in top 8. There's enough spots. Just take the top 8 teams in NASL and put them in the top 8. But occasionally this happened with Aries 77 versus New Wave. They went up against each other in the second round last NACT. Which those are 2 hard-hitting teams, and one of them had to go early on. We only got to see Aries 77 play 2 series on stream. Now, Team Sexy versus the Simpsons. Team Sexy are always known to surprise people. As I said, it's not going to be an easy game. They bring a very heavy early game. They love to put pressure on the enemy team, but I got a feeling that the Simpsons can take this game. I think the Simpsons are just a bit steadier right now. They've had the same lineup for a while. I think they're going to be ready. I think they got something to prove to show that the ban wasn't lifted from them for no reason. So I'm going to put the Simpsons. After that, Vendetta versus the Yorkies. Another spicy game. I think the Yorkies are like, I've talked to I'm guessing he's their team captain. I don't know, but I've talked to them and they just seem hungry. Like they seem like they really, like they feel, I think they seem confident. This is not going to be an easy game for them. Like you're going up against Pogi, Galaxy. It is not an easy game at all. It's going to be rough. I think it's going to be, I definitely think no matter what, this goes best of 3 here. I don't know if I want to put 2 upsets. I think Vendetta are definitely the favorites here. Oh, this is a hard choice. This is a really hard choice. Because I just have this feeling in my soul that like Yorkies are going to take this game. Vendetta. We're going to go for Vendetta. Sorry, Yorkies. You guys had a good run. You made it top 16 in all of NA. I'm saying it like it's already happened. If Yorkies gets the win here, just remember, I called that it could be an upset. Could be. Like a 60-40 chance. Exile Outlaws versus Team First Blood. Team First Blood. I think Team First Blood is going to be a well-oiled machine in this competition. That's what I feel like. Bloodhounds versus Beat the Odds. As I said earlier, I think Bloodhounds looks good right now. I think they're practicing regularly. I think they're ready to go. So I'm going to give it to Bloodhounds. All right. So we have our top 8. Now remember, if the bracket goes exactly as I guessed, these may not be the games you see. These may not be the games you see in the top 8. The whole bracket may get swapped up based on seeding once again, because then we go into the final phase of the tournament. Let me look at what it looks like. So it's like, so you have the qualifier, elimination, and then the top 8 bracket. Top 8 bracket has losers. A double elimination, it looks like. So I think it may be seeded once again. I want to say it could be seeded once again. Like whatever team has the most wins and does the best with least losses will be like the number 1 seed, number 2 seed, just like how it was for this, right? So I don't know. Don't quote me. I asked Dave about it. He said it could get swapped up around. It depends on how the host and because we have E-Stars like handling all the brackets and stuff. So we'll see. These may not be the teams that face, though. This does look like a pretty spicy lineup right here. Because again, I'm pretty sure top 8 is going to be double elimination as I'm looking at it right now. So, guys. The Valley, Team Gosu, Ackerman, Apex Predator, The Simpsons, Vendetta, Team First Blood, Bloodhounds. That's my guess on the top 8 for the North American M4 qualifiers. Again, you can use this same prediction. I'll leave a link for it in the description. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Let me see some of y'all's predictions. And I'll see you guys. We may be streaming some of the games. We are going to be streaming some of these games tonight. Probably the Valley game, the Gosu game, and the Ackerman game, possibly. So yeah, make sure you guys tune in. We'll see you guys next time. Or no, it's going to be the Valley, Gosu, and I don't know. But either way, we'll be streaming a couple games tonight on the NASL, most likely. Thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button. Let me know what you want to see next. Let me know what you need. We're also going to be dropping the next episode of the Boosted Mobile Legends podcast soon. So we'll see you guys then. Trex out.